Japan. Land of cherry blossoms, ancient temples, anime, sumo wrestlers, and yes, eventually ninjas. But before ninjas became the shadowy, roof-jumping, star-throwing, meme-worthy icons of pop culture we know today, there was this one guy, Odamono Sahito. The many historians, and by historians I mean a suspiciously small number of scrolls written by monks who were probably bored, called the very first ninja, the spark that lit the fire, the blueprint.
I'm the shadow. I'm the master of disguise.
The year? Roughly 600 AD. Japan at this time wasn't the polished, orderly society you might imagine from modern-day samurai dramas. It was still in its just moved out of the parents' house and doesn't know how taxes work phase. It's chaotic. It's messy.
Thanks God. Ordinary peasants don't have to pay taxes yet.
There are emperors claiming they're descended from gods, powerful clans waving swords around like they're trying to compensate for something, and nobles competing to see who can own the fanciest silk bathrobe. It's basically high school, but with more beheadings. And in all this chaos, just a bunch of sweaty dudes yelling at each other with swords. There were no ninjas, no secret assassins hiding in shadows, no rooftop flips, not even a single throwing star. At least, not yet. This is where the big brain of ancient Japan really comes into play. Who is he, you may ask? He is Prince Shotoku. Now, Prince Shotoku wasn't just any prince, he was a game changer. Think of Prince Shotoku as one of the most important figures in Japanese history, a legendary politician, a devoted Buddhist, a diplomat, and someone who actually had brains in a world full of people solving arguments with swords. He brought Buddhism into Japan. He wrote Japan's very first constitution. He was an important politician, a strategist, a philosopher, and honestly, just a straight-up genius. He was the main character. But here's the problem. Politics in the 600s? Not great. Imagine Game of Thrones, but instead of dragons, you just had monks chanting loudly in the background. Assassinations, clan rivalries, betrayal, all totally normal. Manipulation was the currency of the day. And so Prince Shotoku needed someone. Not another samurai screaming into battle. Not another noble in a bathrobe. He needed a ghost. Enter Odamono Sahito.
Who are you?
I am Odamono Sahito. I'm not a samurai. I'm not a noble. I do not possess any shiny armor or a family crest. I'm from a clan of workers, of soldiers. We served behind the scenes, doing the unglamorous jobs that still kept the empire running.
In this crowded, dangerous world, I spotted something in you, Sahito-san.
So instead of turning him into another screaming samurai, the prince trained him into something new. Something different. Something terrifying.
I do not need a samurai. Get out. I need something unordinary. I need a ghost in human form. A shadow with a sword.
The prince needed a medieval horror story that made enemies look over their shoulder at night and think, did I just hear a footstep? Or is that the last sound I'll ever hear? And so Sahito's training began. Forget armor. He wore dark robes. Forget glory on the battlefield. He learned patience, silence, and how to hide.
No more yelling for honor while charging. Instead, you shall stab people in the dark and run away over the rooftop.
He learned how to strike without warning and disappear before anyone even knew where the blade had come from.
This is the birth of something new. This is the beginning of ninjutsu.
Now, let's clear something up. Ninjutsu is not karate. It's not kung fu. It's not about kicking people in the face and looking cool while doing it.
Ninjutsu was basically guerrilla warfare with a style. The whole art was about sneaking, spying, infiltration, deception, and occasionally giving your enemies a heart attack by just existing behind them. Over time, ninjutsu became associated with the regions of Iga and Koka, mountain areas where the locals had nothing better to do than perfect the art of hiding in bushes. And they got really good at it. So good that ordinary people thought ninjas had supernatural powers. They have superpowers. I heard they can disappear like the devil. They can walk on water. I heard they control people's mind.
I really can't do these things. These are all myths. But hey, are you brave enough to say that to my face?
But let's go back to Sahito. He wasn't training in fancy sword flourishes. He wasn't learning death punches. He wasn't jumping out of trees yelling, parkour. He was learning the boring, terrifying stuff. How to spy, how to infiltrate, how to deliver secret messages without dying horribly, how to be the guy no one ever sees coming until it's too late. And back then, no one called it ninjutsu. There was no ninja brand. It was just called that sneaky thing Sahito does. His jobs, risky. Spy on rival clans plotting against the prince. Carry secret intel across enemy territory. Protect Shotoku in ways a big armored samurai never could. While samurai were out there screaming into battle, Sahito was already in the enemy's pantry, stealing their rice and reading their secret scrolls. Now let's be clear, early ninjas didn't have the gadgets we think of today. No hooks for climbing rooftops, no exploding kunai, no smoke bombs, no endless supply of throwing stars. Hollywood made all of that up. What they did have was creativity, disguises, hidden tunnels, random farming tools that just so happened to also be excellent for stabbing. Ninjas were basically the life hacks YouTubers of ancient Japan, except instead of teaching you how to reuse a soda bottle, they were teaching you how to assassinate a guy with it.
And slowly, I, Odamono Sahito, became more than just a man. I became an idea, the blueprint for what would one day be called shinobi. The very first ninja. My method spread, improved upon, and eventually grew into entire families and clans. Generations of warriors who lived in the shadows. I didn't do it for glory. I didn't do it for fame. I did it because my master needed me. Because my country needed me. And in doing so, I, Odamono Sahito, basically invented a whole new way of fighting and of surviving.
He was the alpha, and probably the omega. So next time you think of ninjas, the black outfits, the rooftop leaps, the over-the-top anime moves, remember this. Before all of that, there was one man, one prince, and a lot of sneaking around. And sure, he probably didn't do backflips off rooftops, but come on. If anyone could have pulled it off, it was definitely him.